Hi friends, Happy New Year. Welcome to New Year's Eve. I am going to be doing the end of the year survey type thing. I didn't do any videos up until this time, talking about, my least liked, my most loved, stats of any kind. So I decided I'd just do one video kind of talking about everything and then not have to do so many dedicated videos to everything else. I got this from Kayla over on Books and Lala. I will put her channel down if you don't know it by some weird chance. And then she also put in like the person who she originally got it from, so I will put that in as well. But I don't want this video to be too long. I want to just jump in. I have done some due diligence, which is not like me, to look at everything beforehand, pulled books and everything. So let's just start. The number one question is, how many books did you read in 2021? So this is not counting all of like my DNFs and whatever, because there was quite a few DNFs, but on Goodreads what I had for read was 67? No, what? 71. Sorry, 71 books. I just finished the last one like 30 minutes ago while I was filling this out. I finished listening to it. And according to Goodreads, it's actually a book behind even, but for pages read, I have no idea, but Goodreads says 26,325 pages. But again, that's missing one book. And also, I try to be really good about putting in the right editions, but it's not always correct. And so that number is off, obviously, but that's what we have. And then it was the most read genre. And I feel like it was the mystery, horror, thriller category. But looking just over my Goodreads of what I read this month, or this year, I actually read a lot of other stuff as well, just because I was trying to go through my shelf and I wasn't, strictly reading the books that I maybe wanted to read. So there was a lot of other stuff. I read quite a bit of romance and just kind of literary stuff, some young adult contemporary, but I still feel like in my heart, thriller, mystery, horror was my most read. Then my favorite 2021 release, to shock of no one, The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. The books that I have here, you're going to see a lot of, and this survey is pretty repetitious for me, only reading 70 books, like, it just is what it is. So if that's gonna bug you, just click away now. But this is my favorite book. I'm not gonna go into detail of all of them. I'm strictly just going to answer. It's become one of like my favorite books of all time. I just love that book so much, as you will see. Then next we have favorite older title that you read in 2021. And honestly, I just couldn't pick one like most people. So we have The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain. And I'm just so sad that I wasn't on BookTube earlier this year, that I could have talked and gushed about this book, because oh my goodness, this book needs more hype. So amazing. Oh my goodness. And then Bird Box. This is just a book that I can't get out of my head. That's how I did these books, is just ones that I'm finding myself always thinking about. I had so much fun with this book. And also, this is kind of a bit of a shock, I think, to a lot of people. And this also did not get a full 5 stars, but I had to put in Imaginary Friend, because again, like, this book, I think about it at least once a day. It comes into my mind and I just think about what a ride this book took me on. And just how much I invested in it, how much fun I had, how my brain just was going. And then lastly is something that I have not talked about yet. I have been keeping this a secret. The last few months I haven't put it in any videos, because it has its own video that will be coming at the beginning of next year. And so this is gonna be a big surprise, but get ready, hold on to your panties. It's A Court of Mist and Fury. I cannot tell you how obsessed I am with this book. This series, but this one currently. It feels so weird for me to say this is like a favorite book of all time, and I can't explain it. Oh my gosh. We'll get more into it. A book that lived up to the hype, and I put the ACOTAR series because I had to, just because of the amount of hype that this series gets and how much I was just like, there is no way. Well, it doesn't matter who tells me to read it. I am not a fantasy reader. I can't do it. And I just can't, like I said, I can't describe to you how much this book series has taken over my life and my heart and my mind. Like, obsession to a whole nother level. So, I mean, I had to. It absolutely lives up to all of the hype. Okay, then next we have a book that did not live up to the hype. I actually put in a few here, and just get ready to cancel me if you haven't already. I'll just get probably the biggest out of the way now, and that's The Hating Game. Again, I did not hate any of these books, I don't think. Ooh, one I kind of hated. But as far as living up to the hype, for me, it did not. It was just another romance. I did not have any special feelings for these characters. It was a good romance. I really enjoyed it. But the hype of people, especially, I feel like I had to put this one on there because of the movie coming out, and it just like, I feel like it's always being talked about, but even more so, I was just like, okay, it was fine. And another just total beloved by everyone and their grandmother is Beartown. But this is, I gave this book, I think, 4 stars, but it's like a 3.5, 3.75, but I just, again, it was a good story. I just don't understand the hype around Frederick Bachman in general, but I guess I do. I've explained in videos recently that I just am not an audience for Frederick Bachman. I don't understand literary fiction. It goes over my head. This one I felt like was easier, and that's why I gave it a higher rating than like Man Called Uwe and Anxious People, because those just had so many underlying deep messages that you were supposed to get, and I just need someone to spell it out to me. Okay? I am not a deep reader. I have learned that very, very much in my reading, which scares me for some of the books that I have on my shelf. Because yeah, I am not a deep, thoughtful reader. And it makes me kind of sad. Yes, I know. We have The Cabin at the End of the World. I know I'm not alone. I didn't like it. I think about this book almost every day, and it's not out of love. It's out of like, but why? But why? Cool for you if you loved it. I don't get the hype. I don't even really know what to say, except sorry. Okay, biggest reading accomplishment. I have Imaginary Friend just for the size and the dedication, because I did not have an audiobook and I had to slowly read 700 pages with my eyes. So that is that. But then also, on a different note, we have Night Film. Again, this is a long book. It's almost 600 pages. But the accomplishment is that I finished this and somehow didn't DNF it. I should have put this, or could have put this on Didn't Live Up to the Hype, but I don't really know if it has that much hype, honestly, because I feel like a lot of people get frustrated by this book as well. I just this was an accomplishment. I had to drag myself every time to push play because I was just so confused and frustrated and just over it, honestly. I don't know how I didn't DNF it. That's one thing that I don't understand still about myself, how sometimes it's like I just get in my mind like, I can't DNF this, I need to just push through, and how other times I'm like, nope, gone, nope, I'm done, why waste my time, easy, like, so weird. Is anyone else that way? Favorite character, I have a lot. So, I have Reese or Rhysand from the ACOTAR series. I'm a Rhysand for life. All of the side characters from The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I don't even know, like, the names. Zan, obviously the witch in this. Love. And, like, Luna, she's not really in that. I mean, she's fine. But, yeah, it's the side characters. The little dragon, the little swamp monster guy, like, love them so much. You would think I could remember their names, but I don't. But doesn't mean that they weren't just like the softest, sweetest, just lovable characters of all time. Elsa, right? Elsa Walcott. Just her tenacity, her strength, her sheer willpower and strength, just, oh my goodness, amazing, 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 amazing. My favorite Half Night Stan by Christina Lauren. All the men in this book, the group of friends, they were so much fun, and just like a genuine friendship group that I would love to be a part of. They were really top notch. My least favorite character, so what I wrote on here is like, there's nothing that's like immediately like, oh my gosh, I hate them so much. So I don't really have one. Just, there was a lot of books with a lot of bad characters that I didn't enjoy. All the books that I DNF'd or, you know, gave 1 star, 2 stars, like, there's just, yeah. But nothing notable worth mentioning. Book with the most surprising moment. The Dream Daughter was one where I was constantly like physically closing the book and just being like, oh my gosh, like, ah! And I don't know if it was like necessarily surprising, but just like, you know, I guess surprising. But when I hear a book with the most surprising, I would think like, oh, it's gonna be a thriller or something. No, it was this. Like, this book was just so, for me, crazy, mind-blowing. Again, ACOMAF. Like, the end of this book, I literally was freaking out and like ordered the next one as soon as I put this down. Was like, what? I have to know what else happens. So, wow. Then we have my favorite writing of the year. And that is going to be Kristen Hanna and V.E. Schwab. I have plans to continue on going back into both of them. Look how pretty they are together with my color scheme. She's cute. Anyways, like, just amazing writing. Have me in hook, line, and sinker. I'm sure people are like, why is Addie LaRue not getting mentioned until now? I love the writing. I really do love this story. I want to reread it, and I think I will enjoy it even more. Not a favorite of all time. But anyways, yes, these two writing I could read all day, every day, and just be happy. The book that I pushed the most people to read this year, I don't think I have one. I did not, well, one, I wasn't even on BookTube for most of the year. And secondly, I don't feel like I really pushed anything where I was like, I just couldn't shut up about it. One, because I'm only doing reading vlogs, so I talk about a book like once and then I don't really talk about it anymore. And 2, along with that, is like, so I'm not doing tags where it's getting brought up or anything like that. So, but the books that I talked about the most to like my friends and family and like have given copies or really pushed to other people I know who like to read would be The Four Winds. I couldn't stop talking about it right after I read it. And then Imaginary Friend, I've gotten multiple people to read, and I like gifted this to my brother-in-law for Christmas. They really just like left an impression on me. Same could also be said for The Dream Daughter. I couldn't stop talking about that one either. But then currently is, yeah, the ACOTAR series. Again, like I can't shut up. I need, you know what? I don't need help. And I am not ashamed that I'm loving it, okay? I'm happy that I am happy, and that's all I care about. And then for basically the same answer for a book that I'll be recommending the most. Currently, yep, those are them. And again, as far as favorite new authors, Sarah J. Maas and Kristen Hanna. I don't know if people are going to be mad because they're like, you've only read one thing by them. I mean, I've read multiple things of Sarah J. Maas's, but just the same series. And I've only read The Four Winds, but I'm sorry. It's just, they're my new favorite authors right now. And all I want to read is their stuff. So, favorite cover? This is kind of hard. I love just the paperbacks of the ACOTAR series. I have the third one. It's not in here, but it's like that bright neon pink color. I do feel like this red is kind of odd. This is my favorite one. This color combo. This, I've said this before. This was the book when I seen this. Like, I seen it so much on Instagram and stuff, and I was like, at first I was like, what is that book? And then I realized it was the hideous first hardcovers of like ACOTAR, and I was just like, okay, I'll get it, because it is just so freaking pretty. Like, I just love it. This sounds so dumb. I probably would pick up more fantasy books, and why I'm getting more interested in more fantasy books because of this reason is like a lot of fantasy before the last couple years, the covers are just so ugly and look very Dungeons and Dragons, which is fine. I'm not hating on it, but for me, that does not draw me in. Stuff like this draws me in and makes me very excited. I'm a sucker for a cover, but also something different. I really, really love Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance, and I just love a knight. Hello, Reese. Can we tie that in some more? Like, Night Court all day. Take me. Okay. Beautiful. I think she is gorgeous. Anyways, yes, I love a good nightscape book cover. And simplistically, also, like, who doesn't love Addie LaRue's? Book that made me cry the most. I have also said this previously. I'm like the biggest baby in real life. Like, I cry watching every TV show, every movie, like songs. But for some reason, when I read a book, it just doesn't do that. It will give me like, so I have answers. If I were to actually cry, what evokes those types of feelings inside of me that I'm like, if this was a movie, I'd be bawling my face off. Dream Daughter and Four Winds again. These two just really, really heart gripping. I may have shed a tear in Dream Daughter. Possibly. But I read that like the beginning of the year, so I honestly can't remember. And the one that made me laugh the most, again, I don't really read like laughy books, but I laughed out of just like, To Fix Her Up. Like, listening to some of these steamy scenes, I like couldn't help myself. My only reaction was to like nervously giggle. So this really is like my only answer. Next is your favorite reread, and I did not do any. but that's changing. This year, I will be doing one reread every single month. So I'll have an answer next time. Okay, now just again some repeats for the very last question of my most surprising 5-star. Obviously, the ACOTAR series. Nobody was more surprised than me. Okay? Yes, it still blows my mind. Then we had the Four Winds, simply because I never read historical fiction, and my claim my entire life thus far is I hate historical fiction and I hate fantasy. I will read everything but those two genres. Look at me now. And then thirdly, I also put on Addie LaRue because, again, I just typically didn't think that this was something I was going to jive with. V.E. Schwab, again, I thought it was going to be more fantastical than it was going into it, but it was just I had to do it, and I'm so glad that I did. That's the least surprising of the three, but it still was a shock to me that I liked it as much as I did. That's it. That's a wrap, but I am just so happy to be back, and I really hope that some of you are enjoying these videos that I've been putting out. I hope that I have given you some joy this year, the last part of this year, and that you will come back expecting new fun things, because I do have some different plans to switch some things up, and I'm really excited, and I want to try and put forth better videos. I know they haven't been the greatest. It's really hard for me. I'm gonna do a little spiel. Click away if you're done and whatever, but I love this so much. I love reading. I love talking about books, and I spend so much of my daily life talking, thinking, obsessing about books, and I love getting to put this out onto the internet. But I do know that I'm not the best at it. I'm not the best at communicating my thoughts and feelings about things, and so I'm trying to be better, and I hope that maybe you just enjoy me and enjoy cheering me on. And I have, like I said, just big plans for 22, and it feels so weird saying 2022, so I just call it 22, okay? 22 is gonna be great. And so anyways, I love you all. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And that alone would just mean so much to me. And wherever you are, I still hope that you are happy, healthy, and loved. See you next time. Bye!